We're going to look at some examples of radial balance. It's really simple. These are things that you see almost every day. When you look at this image, you see something where it starts out in the very center, and then it goes from the inside, it goes out, and the same thing all the way around, and all the way around to the next layer. It's simple geometry, really. It could be as simple as ornate as you want it to be. A lot of times we see these things in nature. For this project, you're going to use different text effects to create a radial balance design. I'm going to make a brand new file. File new, blank file. I'll call this Radial Balance. I'll keep my dimensions simple, 8, 300, always working in inches. I'll click on OK. If you want to see your rulers, you can go to View Rulers. I already have mine visible, so I will just leave them right there. It already has the check mark by it. So I'm going to start putting in some designs. I'm going to start off with a background. I would like to change the color. I think it's just kind of fun to work with a darker color, but there are so many different types of designs here. I have purple and black chosen right here. This is your gradient tool, and if I click on that one, this box will pop up over here. And I have a lot of choices of different gradients. You can play around with some of the pull-down menu in here. The very first box is going to be the colors that you selected over here. I already have purple and black chosen. There are different gradients. If I go over here, this one, click and drag and change it to that. This one is more of a circular, click and drag, and that might be better for me for this particular project. So once I have my background set of wherever it is that I want it to be, then I am going to go over here to my T tool, my text tool. So once I've clicked on that, I want to change it to a color that I can see. So if I take my T tool and I just click once, don't make a text box, just click once. I can type a letter. I'm going to start with the letter B. That is a little bit on the small side, but that's okay. So I did my check mark. I'm on my Move tool, and I can go to the corners of the B. So small. There we go. And click and drag it to make it a little bit bigger. I can double click. I don't have to stay in this particular font. I can go back over here to my T tool, highlight the letter, go over here, click in this area. Once I highlight this blue area, or this area, and may turn it blue, I can use my up and down arrows. And every time I use my up and down arrows, I can see how the letter changes to different types of fonts. And there are some that I really like. I'm just going to go with this really cool looking Old English text font. Click OK. And maybe I'll go over here to where I have my layers, my effects. I'm on my styles over here. You have a lot of choices over here. I'm going to go to Wild Plastic, and I'm going to double click on that one. It kind of made it look like a little bit on the plastic side. Add some bevels on there, and I think that looks good. I can place this B wherever it is that I want it to go, and I double click, set it in place. So I've got my radial balance started. I'm going to start off with that one in the center, and I'm going to go to my letter T tool again, and this time I'm going to use the letter E. I want to have each letter look different from one another, kind of like it's unique in that it's going to wear its own set of clothes. So I'm taking my T tool, highlighting the letter E, going over here, scrolling through until I find a good font that I think would look good. I like this one, so I'm going to use my check mark, and I can change the size and shape of that. I can even go to the side here and stretch this out. Almost looks like a monster now. Double click to set it in place. I have to put some kind of effect over here, so I'm going back over here to my effects. And I can go to, let's see, how about patterns? I can double click on this guy right here. This is another fun one to do. Outer glows. I can put a ring around it. That one looks kind of neat. So I have this letter E, and I'm going to make a radial balance. So I want to make that E go around the B. So I'm on this layer. Again, I can go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, click OK. and I can move this letter E around. I'm going to my corner. I can kind of turn it around. You can have things looking like they're overlapping one another. Double click, layer, duplicate layer. Oops. Double click. I'm going to duplicate it again. Almost looks like a flower. Now this is kind of neat. I have the letter B that's underneath there. If I click over here to my layers, then I can move that letter so it stands up. I think it's behind all these letter E's. So I'm going to click and drag that to the top. And then I can see the letter B a little bit better because I didn't want it to get completely hidden away. Unless you do want it to get hidden away. It almost looks like a butterfly right now. I'm going to add one more letter on the outside. I put the letter C. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger to work with it. Once I have that on there, again, I always make sure that I have different fonts that I'm using. That one looks good. Check mark, go back to my effects, and I'll make an outer glow on there. Maybe I actually will turn this one to bright green neon. That looks kind of neat. So your letters can be flip-flopped all different directions. You can make them larger or smaller. What I'm looking for with this is that you're using different letters and using different fonts. So layer, duplicate layer, hit OK. Oops, might have to turn that a little bit. Almost looks like a horseshoe. Double click, layer, duplicate layer, hit OK. It's okay if it goes off the edge a little bit. I guess I didn't start exactly in the center, and that's fine as long as it's close enough. Layer, duplicate layer, and I'll have this other letter C in there. Turn it around. You're going to notice it starts getting a little laggy the more that you put in. I'm going to put a few more things around the edges just to fill the space and also make the design more interesting. So after repeating many layers, after putting lots of effects on them, I have created Radial Balance. My design starts out in the center and the design repeats around the outside edges, going all the way to fill the entire space. Change your sizes of text to make them smaller and larger. Make sure each text has different effects.